The old lighthouse stood defiant, a sentinel against the crashing waves. For centuries it had guarded the craggy coastline. Whispers surrounded it, tales of a keeper lost to the sea. His heartbroken wife, they said, walked the lantern room, searching, forever searching. The locals spoke of strange lights, unexplained noises, the mournful cry of a woman echoing across the waves. Many had dared to spend the night. None stayed till dawn. The lighthouse held its secrets close, a place of sorrow, a place of fear. John didn't believe in ghosts. He scoffed at the stories, dismissing them as mere figments of overactive imaginations. To him, the tales of spirits and hauntings were nothing more than the products of folklore and superstition. He was a man of logic, grounded in the principles of science and reason. His life was dedicated to understanding the world through empirical evidence and rational thought. A researcher of the unexplained, John delved into the mysteries that others feared. He sought to bring clarity to the shadows, to illuminate the unknown with the light of knowledge. His mission was clear: to debunk the myths that had persisted for generations. He aimed to strip away the layers of fear and superstition that clouded the truth, to find a rational explanation for every eerie occurrence, every whispered legend. He believed that behind every ghost story lay a logical, scientific reason. He would spend the night alone in the old lighthouse, a place notorious for its ghostly tales. It was a test of his resolve, a challenge to his skepticism. Armed with his camera and a flashlight, he was prepared to document every moment. He was determined to capture evidence that would once and for all disprove the existence of ghosts. He would prove the stories false, show the world that there was nothing to fear in the dark corners of the lighthouse. As he approached the lighthouse, the air grew colder, a chill that seemed to seep into his bones. It was an eerie sensation, but he brushed it off as a natural reaction to the night air. The sea, a raging beast, crashed against the rocks with a ferocity that matched the storm brewing in the sky. The sound of the waves was a constant, thunderous roar. The wind howled through the tower, a mournful sound that echoed through the empty halls. It was as if the lighthouse itself was alive, breathing and whispering secrets. He pushed open the heavy door, the creak of the hinges breaking the silence. Stepping inside, he felt a sense of anticipation, a thrill at the unknown. The air was thick with the smell of salt and decay, a pungent reminder of the sea's presence. He felt a chill run down his spine but ignored it, focusing on his mission. He was here for answers, to uncover the truth hidden within the walls of the lighthouse. No matter what he encountered, he was determined to face it head-on, armed with his unwavering belief in logic and reason. The hours crawled by. Each tick of his watch amplified the silence. The beam of his flashlight danced across the walls. He examined every corner, every shadow. Nothing. Then the whispers started, faint at first, growing louder. He spun around. Silence. He climbed the winding staircase, each step echoing in the darkness. The lantern room was cold, desolate. He felt a presence, a coldness that seeped into his bones. He shivered, turned to leave, and saw her, face to face with fear. In the heart of an abandoned building where shadows danced and whispers lingered, fear took on a tangible form. A woman stood in the doorway, her presence both ethereal and unsettling. She seemed to float, her feet barely touching the ground. Her white dress billowed, though there was no wind. It moved as if it had a life of its own, defying the stillness of the room. Her face was obscured by shadow, but he could feel her eyes staring at him, burning into him. Those eyes, piercing through the darkness, held a story of their own. He raised his camera, his hand trembling. The weight of the moment pressed down on him, making it hard to breathe. The flash illuminated the room. She was gone. In that brief moment of light, she had vanished as if she were never there. He searched every corner, but there was no sign of her. The room felt emptier than before, as if her presence had taken something with it. Only the echo of his own fear remained, bouncing off the walls, growing louder with each passing second. He was no longer a skeptic. The experience had shattered his disbelief, leaving him with a newfound understanding of the unknown. He had seen her, felt her presence. The stories were true. This place was haunted. The legends and whispers that once seemed like mere tales now held a chilling reality. As he left the building, the weight of the encounter stayed with him. He knew he would never forget the night he came face to face with fear. A changed man. He fled down the winding stairs, each step fueled by terror. His heart pounded in his chest, echoing the frantic rhythm of his footsteps. The walls seemed to close in on him, shadows dancing menacingly as he descended deeper into the darkness. He burst out of the lighthouse into the storm, the cold wind biting at his skin. The The storm was relentless, a furious tempest that mirrored the chaos within his mind. He stumbled, nearly falling, but the adrenaline kept him moving. The rain lashed at him, but he didn't care. Each drop felt like a needle against his skin, but it was nothing compared to the fear that drove him. He had to escape, had to put as much distance as possible between himself and the horrors he had witnessed. He had to get away. From the lighthouse. From her. The image of her ghostly figure, with her sorrowful eyes, was etched into his mind. He could still hear her whispers, feel her cold presence lingering around him. He never looked back, never forgot. The island had changed him in ways he couldn't fully comprehend. The skeptic in him had been shattered, replaced by a man who had seen the unexplainable. He had come to the island a skeptic. He left a believer. The transformation was complete, and there was no going back. The experiences he had endured were now a part of him, forever altering his perception of reality. Haunted by the memory of the woman in white, her presence was a constant shadow in his life. Her sorrowful eyes, filled with a pain he couldn't understand, haunted his dreams and waking moments alike. Her sorrowful eyes burned into his mind, a permanent scar on his psyche. He could never escape the feeling that she was watching him, judging him, perhaps even seeking something from him that he could never give. He knew the truth now. The island held secrets that were never meant to be uncovered. The ghostly woman was just one part of a larger, more terrifying reality that he had only begun to understand. Some secrets are best left undisturbed. The island had taught him that some mysteries are better left unsolved, some truths better left in the shadows. He had learned this lesson the hard way, and it was a lesson he would carry with him for the rest of his life. The lighthouse whispers on. The lighthouse still stands, a beacon against the crashing waves, a silent sentinel guarding its secrets. The whispers continue, tales of the lost keeper and his wife, forever bound to the place they loved, a chilling reminder that some things cannot be explained, only experienced.